We've got NFL training camps heating up across the country. We've got Kadarius Toney injury news to the point where he might actually be a value. I don't know. We've got Justin Ross highlights. We've got Rashad Penny highlights of him taking first team carries. We're going to cover it all tonight on Fantasy Points Best Ball Breakdown. Welcome in, everyone. I'm Chris Wecht, filling in as your host tonight with Thomas Tipple. Not feeling quite up to the challenge tonight, but he's still around in the background clicking all the buttons. Tonight, we brought in Justin Freeman from Run the Sims. Justin has been on this channel before doing XFL coverage with myself and Drake Trivy. Justin, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. There's greener grass on the other side of the XFL fence, and I'm excited to go explore it with you guys here today. The NFL is almost here. I love that we're like in the what's news, what's noise section of training camp. It's always a fun time to try to like pluck away some advantages against ADP, especially as things are changing so rapidly. I've just been in here like changing my projections even before we hopped on because every day there's like 7-10 things, to react to, and you've got to try to discern through it. So I'm excited. This is a good time to be hopping into best ball draft. So appreciate you guys having me on.
Absolutely. Grant,
yeah, good to have
how
you, man.
Doing?
I'm good, man. Yeah, good, man. It's good to have actual news flowing. Like, the last 3 to 4 weeks have just been like people making stuff up as they go, and now we have actual news to sift through. So yeah, it's been fun. I haven't had a chance to do many underdog drafts, so I'm excited to draft tonight and see somewhere guys go, like Sky Moore, Kadarius Toney.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've seen Toney go into like the hundreds now, which is pretty crazy. I mean, I probably have. I want to say I've only drafted him on the stream, but I think I have taken him a couple other times where it made sense for my team. But yeah, I mean, in the hundreds, you have to at least think about it. I think now, whereas previously I was like just very out on him in the where he was going.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Sky was, always a pretty good value. I think you were on MVS too, Chris. I mean, MVS is really the guy I've been drafting the most. I think I have like 15%.
He's going to run the most routes for the team this year.
Yeah, most likely. I mean, I've been thinking about this though. Like, I think they really wanted Juju to be like the full-time guy last year, to be the guy who could, run 85, 90% route share, but like his knee just couldn't cooperate. So to me, like that guy's Sky in this offense, but I obviously don't know if he's ready for that role. I mean, that's the big question here. But yeah, MVS still looks like a great value. I mean, you can still get him in the 150s, which I think is primo. He should be going in the 130s now.
Justin, did you?
When you're looking at an offense like the Chiefs, you want pieces of it. It's just so dang hard to try to figure out who the right guy is. Luckily, there's pretty tremendous discounts across the board in terms of where these guys are going. Here we are, we're playing a contest that's got a multi-million-dollar first prize. There's no reason to be scared. Like, you got to come into this thing guns blazing and pick your guy or pick your set of guys, to go along with Mahomes, or even without Mahomes. The Chiefs offense is going to be crushing. So just don't feel like you've got to fade the Chiefs just because you don't land Mahomes in the second or whatever. Like, I think these guys are still great targets. Somebody besides Travis Kelce's got to catch the ball. I was definitely, I hate to say it, I was in on Kadarius Toney. Like, I was definitely sipping the Kool-Aid up until sort of this latest injury news. And now I feel like I'm completely off. I want to like move in other directions. I think Sky really does have that best sort of risk and reward profile. Unfortunately, I hate to say, like, I think we know who MVS is. He's a veteran player. Like, we've seen what his good looks like, and there's flashes, but we're talking about a guy who's probably going to average something like 3 receptions a game, and that might be as good as it gets for him. So I'm always interested in younger players when we're using that as a tie break.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on this in the sense that we know what MVS is. He's just a field stretcher, but I still think he has value in this offense, especially at ADP. I was kind of in on Toney when he was going in like the 70s and 80s in like May. Mm-hmm. And I was like, he got gassed up into the 60s. And I was like, yeah, forget this. Mm-hmm. By the way, guys, before we start drafting, data.fantasypoints.com is going to be your go-to for all NFL research, this season, next season, future seasons. Get in right now. It's only $50. Free trial period's up, but you can get in for $50. Should be a lot more, but yeah, $50. We're men of the people at Fantasy Points, and we want to make sure that you guys check this stuff out. So make sure you get there, data.fantasypoints.com.
You get a 7-day free trial with that too. So even if you just want to check it out and decide, hey, this is for me, or if it's not, it doesn't cost you a thing to at least check it out.
For sure.
And as somebody who has checked into that data myself, I give that the old +1. I mean, you guys have done a great job with that product. It's super slick, and like I'm already trying to find ways that I can integrate that into my weekly research, because I mean, I'm trying to find every data detail I can, and it can be tough, like cobbling together data sources from 7-10 different sites, and you guys have like all the good stuff under the hood in one place. So definitely get my seal of approval there.
That was the goal. Make it the one-stop shop for all the data you could possibly need.
Yeah, it really was. And especially for you, I mean, for DFS purposes, I think this end season is going to be even better than it is right now in the off season. I think that's where a lot of this edge is going to come from. So yeah, love to hear that, man.
All right, you guys ready to hop in and draft?
Let's do it.
Get it.
All right, we'll be right back. All right, we're hopping into a Best Ball Mania 4 draft here as usual. Let's see where
you guys crossing your fingers for a particular draft spot?
We have ran really hot, I think, actually, with this, like pretty much always being in the top 5, other than a couple times, which I feel like is like the tier break. I like getting one of the big 4 wide receivers or McCaffrey.
Yep. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I've been taking Diggs. I feel like Diggs at 6 is kind of the end of that tier. Maybe, he doesn't have the bury you Jefferson Chase score upside probably, but
right.
I think he has a top 3 ceiling. So I think that's the end of the tier for me. And once again, we run hot. Let's go.
Let's go.
Nice.
So what do you guys, so assuming Jefferson and Chase go 1-2, do you guys like one of the other receivers over McCaffrey, or is it always McCaffrey for you at 3?
What do you think, Justin?
Like what's funny is I actually prefer Eckler over McCaffrey straight up, because I'm really in on the Chargers offense, and there's so many weapons there in San Francisco, and Elijah Mitchell's in that backfield as well. Like McCaffrey's always been such a volume hog, and I don't know that they have to treat him that way this year. So that scares me off just a little bit. So yeah, like I'm fine digging into the Cup Hill area if you guys have a favorite among them. But otherwise, like I'm a little scared of McCaffrey at that spot.
Yeah, I'm with you on McCaffrey. I strongly vote Cup. I think Cup still has the wide receiver 1 well within range, like 33% chance, just like Jefferson, just like Chase. Maybe not that high of a chance, but
yeah, I have no problem with that at all.
Yeah, as a projections guy, like you do a Rams projection, it's impossible not to make Cup look like, second coming of Jerry Rice, because there's nobody to compete with targets in that offense. It's just him and Stafford running it back again.
Dude, it's funny that you say Jerry Rice. That's the comp Scott's been making. It's like literally the only receiver that parallels his production in terms of age, in terms of volume, everything is Rice. Mm-hmm. So Thomas says this is our first Cup start, which I love. So
that's crazy. Doesn't feel like it should be.
Yeah, really doesn't. But
probably
I'm with you on your
CMC to take Travis Kelce over him or something crazy like that.
Oh boy, I'm with you on your CMC take, Justin. You're one of the first I've heard say it. I think Eckler and CMC should be a lot closer, if not, flipped. I have them a lot closer in my ranks. I've been taking Diggs over McCaffrey because I'm with you, man. Think about it logically, right? The Niners they have Super Bowl intentions. Why in the world would they give 22 touches to McCaffrey early in the season? You know what I mean? Exactly. Like they got Debo healthy, they got Ayuk healthy, they got Kittle. They got all their dudes, man. Like why in the world would they do that? And Elijah Mitchell is coming off two fluky knee injuries. Like he's back healthy. I'm not saying McCaffrey's a horrible pick at 3, 4, 5. He can obviously bury us, but I feel really comfortable taking Kupp and Tyreek and even Diggs over him sometimes.
Justin, how do you, from like a projection standpoint, how do you look at a guy like Brock Purdy and the Niners offense as a whole and project what you think might happen?
Yeah, funny enough, I was just touching them before we hopped on, and it actually helped me get a little bit stronger projection for McCaffrey, still just a smidge behind Eckler for me. But overall, like it definitely boosts the sort of offensive expectations because you don't have to worry about this changing horses midstream type of narrative or the offense being a little slow starting. Now, granted, there's still a super wide range of outcomes with Brock Purdy. We just think that he can likely execute the game manager role that Kyle Shanahan wants him to be. And that's good enough in this offense because Shanahan's they're loaded with talent and he's putting all the guys in the right places to make plays. So, I think their offensive upside is absolutely massive. But ultimately, you got to pick which guys in this offense are going to dominate.
Yeah. Well, that's what I wanted to ask you. Since you're kind of lower on CMC, I know you said you bumped him up a little, but like, who's the guy in this offense if not CMC? Is it Debo? Is it Ayuk? Is it Kittle? Do you have one that you really are targeting, or is it just kind of how you're depends on how your draft's going?
Yeah, definitely. I'm strong on Debo. I'm giving him like 8% of the rush attempts in this offense and about 22% of the team's targets, which neither of those seem like massive numbers. He's barely projected ahead of Ayuk in terms of receiving volume, and he's just always been so efficient that he's going to grade out super well. He's involved in the goal line in all the right places, all the places that McCaffrey's also good though. So it's like they kind of they're so similar in their ways that they can produce fantasy points. Just Debo leans a little more receiver and McCaffrey a little more traditional running back. But yeah, I'd say Debo's the guy I'm ahead of right now. Currently have him as wide receiver 10. He's going wide receiver 18 on Underdog.
Yeah, I love that. I've been heavily drafting Debo too. 22% target share, 8% carry share, I think makes a ton of sense. It's right in line with where I'm at. I think 22% is like a really good median number. He has the explosive ability to get to 27 though. And that's why in the third round, especially compared vis-a-vis these running backs, I think these running backs in the third round, they're going later now, but there's massive downside with these guys. Ramondre has downside. They all have downside. So yeah, I've been taking Debo a lot in the third.
Zach, this is a half point PPR. System. Underdog is all that way. So that's pretty much when we're referencing players. That's pretty much the format we're talking about. We're coming up here.
Man, I miss getting Pollard here.
Yeah,
that was so nice. That's over though.
Those days are gone, huh?
We could play for Eagles if you wanted to try.
Yeah, and maybe Hurts comes back to us. I've also been trying to get a little bit more Derrick Henry with
me too.
Them clearly buying in.
Yeah, me too.
To me, it's one of those two guys. I don't like taking Higgins here or really anybody else. Yeah, Justin, do you have a take?
I like Henry a lot here. I think them sort of re-engaging with Tannehill. I think there's a lot of signs of life back in this offense that they're re-engaging around DeAndre Hopkins. I think we'll see signs of life again. The Titans, no matter how depleted their chart looks, they're always hanging around. They're there. So I say Henry.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I think Henry makes a ton of sense here. He's kind of he really should be going now where Pollard, I guess he is going where Pollard's used to be going at 21, 22. So, yeah.
So the problem with taking Henry is it makes this turn pick hard, I feel like.
It does and it doesn't if we get one quarterback to drop because there's one and
there's only one left.
Yeah, it's that one. He's so fun to stack right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because if he goes and Higgins is gone, I don't love taking DK. I don't love taking Andrews unless I did a Miami start.
I mean, Justin's wide receiver 10 will be there.
That's true. He won't be there on the way back. I
think we're gonna have a choice here between Higgins and Allen. So
yeah,
I would think about it.
Higgins myself. Let's keep some options open down the road. I have a hard time stomaching early round quarterback, even in best ball, where there is a lot of value in capturing the upside of a guy like Josh Allen. Gosh, I don't know. You're about to make me talk myself into Allen here.
I love Allen. I've been taking him a ton in the third. I don't think he should be a third round pick, but Higgins is, I think, a clear choice here.
Yeah,
he's Higgins 5 spots past ADP. Is at 22-ish. So
yeah. And getting the wide receiver there doesn't force us to go wide receiver when we come back around.
Cletus, aka Dr. Phil's asking, should I trade Josh Jacobs? I get your panic. I get our concern. Josh Jacobs is still 25 years old. He was arguably the best running back in the NFL last year. No, please don't trade him for a song. Like, especially in Justin, I want to get your thoughts on this too, and just your read on Jacobs as a whole. Like, with Barkley basically coming back for like a little bit of extra incentive money, and basically just saying, hey, I got to be here for starter trading camp. What's your read on Jacobs, and what's your read on this Raiders team as a whole? Because they're a team I've really struggled to project this year.
It is tough. The contract uncertainty makes it almost impossible. The fact that he's getting on planes leaving Vegas, obviously not a great sign. And it sounds like the teams, they just want to give him his breathing room to figure stuff out. The offer's likely on the table, for him to make a decision with. So, but if he plays, like, the rushing volume is going to be massive. The team's likely going to be competent with Jimmy Garoppolo, but probably not lights out. It scares me off Devontae Adams more than it scares me off of Josh Jacobs in terms of what we're expecting. Like, I think if McDaniels has his way in this offense, like, it's just going to be a lot of Jacobs, just like it was last year. So I would expect much of the same. Obviously, he was super efficient last year. Those types of things come back down to earth a little bit, but overall, I'd expect him to get fed as much as possible, particularly being sort of in the last year of a deal on franchise tag.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Jacobs ends up having to come back. With you on Devontae, I guess my counter, I've been taking Garrett Wilson out of him, have him ranked, Garrett Wilson ranked out of him too. But, Devontae Adams was still incredible. Like, film numbers last year, everything was incredible for him. He looked 27. He's about to turn 31, but he's going to get a 33% target share. But Cletus, to kind of round out your question, if you were to trade Jacobs, like if you're just panicking, go get $1 for $1, man. Like, don't settle for anything less than 1-to-1. I'm not sure if this is a dynasty league, redraft league, but yeah, I'm still all about Josh Jacobs. And I think Justin's right. I think he ends up having to come back. Tom Venison, yeah, Debo does have the ability to take over a game, and I don't think he's drafted late. I think he's a slight value. I have him at like wide receiver 15. His ADP is 17, 18. Justin's got him well ahead. And I think that makes sense. Debo certainly has 2-touchdown appeal in every single game he suits up for. We just got to go into this thinking, yeah, there's going to be games where it's Christian McCaffrey scoring 20 points. There's games where it's Ayuk getting 8-9 targets. Shanahan's very game script dependent, but by and large, Debo is their guy, and he's especially their guy against zone coverage. And 49ers they get a lot of zone coverage. So yeah, I'm in on Debo in round 3. And really, frankly, Justin, I don't really know if there's going to be a price where I'm going to be out on Debo, to be honest with you, because I don't think he's going to get gas. He's been a big, like, fantasy industry, fade guy. And I get the reasons against it with McCaffrey and everything, but it's like Debo is still really freaking good. Like, by yards per route run, he's been nothing but top 15 every single year of his career, except for last year where he got hurt. He had 3 injuries. And, I don't know, man. I think if there's a better bounce back candidate in that range, I don't really see it. I think Debo's a fantastic pick right now. So
absolutely. And a guy who's going to get on the field pretty much no matter what the situation looks like. He's just his role is so unique that I don't think you have any workload concerns whatsoever, despite how many mouths are in that offense. Like, he's going to be out there 85-90% of the snaps doing what he does. I see Joe Burrow's up at the top of the board.
Yeah,
that would obviously I don't know if we're getting there or not. We're getting close, but
to me it's very clear between Burrow and Williams. We could go for a Williams Herbert stack if you guys want to triple up kind of on 3 good offenses.
I like the Burrow side. I don't
hate that idea, but I think I would take Burrow. That's what I'm leaning to.
Yeah, to go ahead and make this kind of nice with our Higgins play here, I think that'd be great. Burrow, I think, especially lifts up Higgins. Higgins lifts up Burrow. Yeah, we'll take the correlation here. Yeah. And this kind of is just like a lesson to me in how to use correlation in best ball. There he was. He's the top player on the board. He correlates well with a guy that's on our team already. We're telling the same story with 2 different players. that's exactly what we want to do. We did not reach ahead of ADP. We did not, scroll down the board to make the correlation happen. And that's as good as you can draw it up. Now, you don't always get Joe Burrow falling to you there. Yep. And perhaps if we waited a little bit longer, we get him on the way back. I don't know. Like maybe that's worth playing around with. But I think the way we handled that right there was very good.
Nice. Yeah, I'm with you. This range is, I think, the trickiest to pick from at this turn. Do you have a clear read here or somebody that stands out, Justin?
Well, let's think here. Like, I mean, obviously, Ayuk is another 49er that you could use. Excuse me, we don't have Depot. Excuse me. Think structurally about how we build. We've got one awesome running back right here, and we're kind of in no man's land with additional running backs. I see the ones popping up down there: Aaron Jones, Dobbins.
Yeah, it is the end of the tier here.
Yeah, like I don't think we really want to be grabbing in this area.
I've got Kirk ranked ahead of all these guys.
Okay, let's go Kirk. I'm not a DJ Moore guy. Let's go Kirk.
Yeah, I think if Lawrence is going to have the season we all think he's going to have, like he's going to have 2 top 24 receivers. I think Kirk's floor is really strong still. I think Ridley has a higher ceiling slightly, but Kirk's floor is still really good.
Awesome. Yeah, structurally, we're kind of looking anchor RB right now. If we just kind of leave that position on for a little while and just sort of load up at the receiver position. So, interested in kind of seeing what comes back to us here through the next 2 rounds.
Jeremy Yates with a super chat question.
Let's go,
Jeremy. I think this is our first super chat question we've got on the stream. Appreciate you, man. Help me understand what variable has people taking Bijan Robinson over Nick Chubb. Justin, I'll let you take this. Bijan Robinson versus Chubb.
I am the worst person to answer this question because I got Chubb over Robinson. But
really,
I love it. Yeah, go.
Yeah, like I'm kind of down on Robinson, and I'm high on Chubb, so that's 2 funny guys to ask about. But yeah, like I think it's assuming that Bijan comes right out of the gate the way that we've seen other rookie running backs in the past drafted in the first round get monster workloads. Where I'm concerned is that I can't project a monster workload for Bijan Robinson when Tyler Algier ran for 5 yards a carry last year. Like he was a very efficient rusher. Cordero Patterson's there. He's not a nobody. He's had a very successful past 2 years in Atlanta. Like they have, at least 2 sizable weapons and Kyle Pitts and Drake London to take away the targets, even though they don't intend to likely throw the ball a ton. So the passing volume the total overall volume in the offense doesn't look large. They don't look like a team that's going to score a massive amount of touchdowns. So for me, that's why Bijan seems like the guy may have a lot of talent, but I can't project him in such a way that he's going to be like off the charts in efficiency, and the volume itself's not enough to get there. So I don't project him for this Derrick Henry type of workload that I think some others are.
Yeah, I got you. I follow all that logic. Chris, what
I know you and I terrified for my 0% Nick Chubb exposure.
Oh gosh.
I've not been on Chubb this year. Where did he go in this draft? He goes right at the turn. I just like the wide receivers better there. I guess I don't hate Chubb because all the reasons you just said are reasons to like him. I think I just like the receivers there better. When it comes to Bijan, I think the floor for these highly drafted rookie wide receiver or running backs is higher than we remember every time it happens. Barkley had a very high volume the first year he was drafted. Zeke was the same way. McCaffrey was the same way. Many of these guys come in and are used a lot more. And while Algier was definitely good, I would not be surprised if Arthur Smith thinks that's my scheme that did that, not the player that did that. And he's going to say, we've seen him. I know he's never really fed Kyle Pitts, but we've seen him try to design plays for him, and he definitely did it with London. I think he wants to do it with Bijan too. That would be my case for Robinson over Chubb, but I don't not like Chubb at all for all the reasons that Justin said.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the year last year, the only thing Ritter really did well is those programmed on-schedule throws to London over the middle. And you're right. I mean, they did try to do that with Pitts, but Mariota was just so abysmal. I think I'm a little bit off of Bijan just for similar reasons that Justin kind of pointed out, Ball is only going to go to one spot. Pitts and London should both be like at least median. I have them at 25%, but they both have the ability to go to 30. So that right there is half of the team's targets. I think Bijan will catch 35, 40 balls. He has the upside to get to 50.
Do you think Chubb will catch? That's really what it comes down to.
That's the big question. Exactly.
It gets any involvement in the passing game.
Well, I think he's more likely to this year with no Kareem Hunt in that backfield. I see him being out there on passing downs. I don't know whether you guys believe in the sort of tertiary options in that offense, but I see Chubb having a massive snap share increase this year, barring they don't sign another one of the free agents that are out there.
Yeah, I was just looking into this with the data suite. I mean, last year, Nick Chubb was at like 46% snap share inside the 20. Kareem Hunt was at like 44%. So even if you give like 10% of Kareem Hunt's old role to Chubb, like that would make him, RB4 at least. So, I've been heavy on Chubb. This is another tough pocket here.
It is, yes.
Yeah. So
we click on the receivers there, Chris.
No obvious correlation spots here.
Nah. I do kind of like Dameon Pierce or David Montgomery, one of the backs. We got only one.
Yeah, I don't mind.
I'm down with
like
either
Pierce.
of those guys. Yeah, let's go Pierce.
Let's go Pierce, sir.
We'll take all the projected volume.
Yeah, I like it.
Projections.
Dallas Goedert's a guy that I don't think I've really ever drafted unless I had Hurts on my team. And I don't think that feels right. He feels like a guy that should be viewed like any of the other elite tight ends in my eyes.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
But he's in this weird pocket that I seem to like never really land on him unless I'm building an Eagles team.
No, dude. Yeah, he projects. I have him over Kittle. Like he projects at least right there with Kittle. I mean, similar target share, obviously maybe a smaller slice of volume. I think, the Niners will be a little more pass heavy, but maybe not. I mean, maybe Eagles will have to throw more. Maybe they'll be in a lot more competitive games. So, yeah, I think Goddard and Kittle project very, very, very closely. Like,
he's also the wide receiver 3, basically, for the team. Like, if A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith got hurt, he would be the guy that would see the bump. Yeah,
it'd be the nuts.
So we can reach here for Darren Waller to give us the Cooper Kupp Waller Week 17 stack.
So I was going to recommend 2 tight ends to keep an eye on. Maybe we could toss them in the queue. Well, hang on, we're on the clock, but yeah, can we pick a different position? Because I got a couple tight ends I think will help us later. Yeah. What do you guys think about James Conner? That's another volume projection guy.
I'm with you on that.
Okay.
I just did a thread on him on why he's a great RB2 value. We're getting him at RB3. So there you go.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Yeah. Him or Gabe Davis would probably be the only receiver.
Yeah. It'd be Gabe. Gabe for me too, but I don't feel amazing about that. We've got 3 good ones.
Here's the 2. And hopefully there's, we're not in with any Confederates here in the chat, but we could easily set up Irv Smith from Cincinnati. I think that would be a great addition for us on this particular team with Burrow and Higgins already. Also, Tyler Higbee is about the only other guy you can project volume for in LA. And if we decide to pursue a Ram stack with Stafford, like I think this is we're starting to think of guys who could help round out in a correlated fashion the rest of our roster.
Yeah, we definitely don't want to have Burrow only stacked with T. So and we don't really only Mixon's gone. So it's really Irv or Tyler Boyd a little bit later.
Honestly, we could go for all 3. I don't mind all 3 really.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also would love to get some KC on this team. Probably not anytime soon, but at least one.
You can grab him.
Chris, I've been with you on CEH, man. He is such a good pick on drafters right now, and and on DraftKings, any full point PPR.
Yeah, I think he's good.
He's good on underdog too.
He's the early down back if Pacheco were to not be active for a game.
He would be. Yeah.
Scott, who do you like between Rashee Rice and Sky?
I'm not sure you were saying that too, but Rashee Rice and Sky, it's Sky for me. I actually flipped Sky over Tony in my rankings today or yesterday, and it felt amazing. So, yeah. I was kind of with Chris on Tony. I drafted him a few times where I took Mahomes, which was a lot. Looking back on it now, actually, so it's probably more than a few times. I think I've like maybe 6-7%. But yeah, man, I think Sky's still a pretty good play, especially again. I think in the 90s, I've not really been taking too many receivers, but I think Sky is certainly looking a little more appealing in terms of an upside angle in that ADP pocket.
How high do you think he gets?
His old ADP last year, probably. I mean, he was going in the 80s at the highest point. I think he'll probably get there. I think him and Kadarius will flip.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised he's not even off the board yet in this room.
We're sitting here bullshitting about him. Somebody's listening. They'll probably go.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm seeing Sky with a projection. I mean, ADP right around pick 100, and I'm sure it's getting a little. I'm not even sure that's got the most recent stuff baked in. So I think it's this pick right here if we want him.
Yeah. Chris, can you go to the backs just real quick? Yeah. Okay. Come on.
James, I don't think another guy picking up some steam.
No, we're good.
Yeah, we probably don't need another running back for a little bit. Unless a guy is falling, which actually Treylon Burks, I don't think I've seen. Well, Burks has definitely been dropping, but this is
where he should be going.
Yeah, there he goes.
There he goes. Yeah.
Rashad White, 13 picks after ADP.
I know. That's why I was keeping an eye on Pacheco a little. Justin, what's your read on Pacheco? Because he's been a guy I kind of feel like I have a blind spot on.
Yeah, I would go ahead and close the door if you got your eye on CEH as like a last round dart throw or very late. So, but yeah, no, he doesn't have that well-rounded skill set that I like in a running back. So I have a hard time.
Yeah, he just went. Yeah.
If Rashad makes it here, it's going to make that. It's going to make that Gene. Then I would have rather us had taken Gabe at 75, and then you take White here, but maybe he doesn't make it to it.
Yeah, but if we take Rashad, we might not. Scroll down real quick. We might not need to take another. Well, we would take one more back if we get Rashad. He might go here, though.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he does.
All right, so we don't have to make that decision. So it is Sky here. What'd you say?
I don't hate Sky here. I mean, I really don't feel strongly about any of these guys, besides maybe James Cook. But we don't need another back.
Let's take Sky.
Yeah, that's the tough thing when you get here and you're like, I would rather take James Cook in a vacuum, but I think our team needs Sky more here.
This is the dead pocket for wide receivers. You don't ever feel good about taking any of these guys.
Yeah, I mean, I have not been taking receivers in rounds 9 and 10. I've been really trying to avoid it. And the one I do is Jamison Williams. I think he's the one that has like strong projectable upside. And you can get him at like wide receiver 4 or 5, and the 6 missed games don't hurt too bad.
Should we consider Tyler Boyd here?
I was just about to ask that too.
Ooh, I like it. Yeah, let's do that.
Can we take a peek at the backs real quick? Yeah, I mean this is a really long flat tier here. We'd have to jump ADP on at least one.
Khalil Herbert's like the guy who jumps off the page to me there.
You think he's the guy in Chicago, or do you think?
Yeah, I assume he's got a pretty strong starting lead there in that offense. But
I saw a tweet today that Foreman and Herbert were splitting, but I'm with you. Herbert's the better bet vis-a-vis Foreman for sure.
Yeah, Foreman's the one that I'm not really drafting. Herbert and Roshan are probably the two that I'm definitely getting exposure to. Just feels like a backfield you want to kind of just take shots on and say, we'll figure it out later. So Boyd here.
Yeah, for sure.
Nothing else really jumps out.
Nice.
So we're definitely looking. So we have a couple late stacking opportunities in terms of another QB. We can do Stafford. We could even do Titans and get Tannehill and throw. Hopkins is gone. And so is Burks, but we could do like Chig, or Kyle Phillips super late.
I'm still taking Kyle Phillips, by the way. I still think he's likely their starting slot. He won't play in 12 personnel, but we'll see what the backs look like, because if we get a good back to fall to us, maybe.
Yeah, so 118.
We would only need to probably take one, but I think it's
Herbert.
probably a dead pocket.
What's your stomach for Kyler?
I've been high on Kyler all year. I mean,
yeah,
he's one of my most drafted quarterbacks.
That's terrifying. No, I don't think it's wrong. It's scary to say.
I mean, he was at 175, man. You know, he's starting to really shoot up. So
149. I mean, he could act like he would. I mean, he's posted multiple QB1 weeks throughout his career. Like he could smoke the playoff weeks in this tournament.
Why'd you say that was terrifying?
Just because like the uncertainty about it.
Yeah.
But
no,
other than that's the only thing.
He could be a total zero by week 15.
Right.
Know, there's that absolute downside.
I don't even
risk.
know, and you're right. I don't even know if that matters because of where you can draft him. Like if he does not play until week 14, 15, 16, 17, because I've been in the camp that I think he's definitely playing this year. I don't think it makes any sense for him, for his own career, for him not to want to play. I don't see why he would allow that. And then the Cardinals have pretty much only said that they're behind Kyler. I know what else are they going to say, but at least they're saying it. Yeah.
I mean, my thing is just when Kyler was going at 175, 160 even, it was like, you know, I've been taking a ton of Lawrence, a lot of Herbert, a lot of Allen, like I was saying. It's like, okay, I can just take Kyler as my QB2. And it's like, all right, I already have a ton of baked in upside with my stacks and whatever, you know, mid-round quarterback I was taking, or even, you know, I like double stacking some of the, you know, 9th and 10th round guys. You can get Kyler as your QB3, you know, in terms of projection, he was by far the best projection on the board. Now he's going to the 150s. And now I'm like, okay, I think that's closer to where he should be going. But what's your read, Justin?
Richie James.
Oh my goodness.
7. Let's go.
That's
new high. That'll be a new high. We were here for it. Look at that.
Where's
I love it. Somebody's got the notifications turned on.
No Chiefs, no Bengals, nothing.
Wow. Right. He's got to read. Maybe it's Richie James himself, and he's just like he knows he's about to catch 65 balls or something.
Yeah, no, I think Kyler is a pretty good risk reward. What's funny is like with Burrow, we got what I'd consider an elite quarterback. Maybe it's not Allen Herbert. Allen Mahomes and Hurts, but still like we need Burrow to pay off that draft position, right? So it's like maybe a guy like Kyler. I don't know whether that's like too risky to go with a guy like Burrow. Should we just take like a boring guy that's going to get the guaranteed fantasy points and let Burrow do the heavy lifting?
Well, this room has been a little light on QBs, so we could, we can keep playing it. I definitely like Kyler for this team, especially with Connor. We can get another tight end.
Yeah, we're getting some ADP followers in this draft.
Yeah, but I was about to say there's Nico here, and Nico would be strong. Or I mean, Samaje still has very strong contingent upside. I know.
I'd be in favor of Nico here.
It sets up if we needed to do a Stroud Houston stack as well.
We've got a lot of late round quarterbacks we can flesh this out with. You got Stroud, Stafford, and Kyler all as viable options on this team.
Yep. And Tannehill.
And and Tannehill.
What with Javonte not going on the pup, does that mean anything to you for Samaje or?
Yeah, I'm not as interested anymore. That's just kind of the natural trade-off with that news to me is like I'm now super high on Javonte, like projecting him for almost a full role because I think that's him being there is very indicative of that. And so naturally the direct loser is Samaje in that case.
Yeah. I mean, Javonte's still got a long way to go, but it's insane, man. Avoid the PUP. He'll be 11 months removed, I think, by week 1. So it's a really long window for him to return here. What are we thinking of this turn here, boys?
How many receivers?
We don't need a
team now.
We got 5.
6 receivers.
6 now with Nico. Yeah. We don't need to go 7th.
Yeah, the running backs aren't great. There's no tight ends here that fit our team. If we do want to bank on getting Kyler, we could reach for Rondale Moore.
Ooh, Chris, that's a great idea. I think that's the call.
Because there's no other Arizona players anywhere close to consideration, right?
You can do like a late Greg Dortch or Michael Wilson.
I like Trey McBride.
And the tight ends are, I mean, probably not Ertz, but yeah, McBride. There's nothing wrong with
McBride.
that.
Yeah. All right, so we'll shoot for that then. What's Irv's ADP still? Is it still 155-ish or something?
Yeah, so,
my eyes are really bad. Sorry, Chris.
Yeah, we'll have to take him on our turn, our second pick on the next turn.
147. Okay.
Well, and if we want Higbee, we'd have to do the same thing. But I think we're leaning
same range. Yeah, it might be a Higbee Irv turn, and then we're done at tight end.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that. And Chig might get here too.
Or we go the Arizona tight ends and we don't take Higbee.
Yeah, I'm fine with that too.
Yeah, toss Chig in the queue if you don't mind, and that way we know sort of what those options are looking like.
Yeah, Chig would be fine here. Yeah. Mitch, yeah, I'm into Nico. He's really came up in ADP though, man. He was 140-ish in May, 115-ish now. I liked him. This is always a cop out to say that, but I liked him a lot more when he was cheaper. I think that the ADP gas makes sense. But to me, it's still pretty murky. I think John Mechie, if he's healthy, is right on par with Nico in terms of like range of outcomes, who could be the top receiver. But, Robert Woods is going to command targets too. I mean, this could be like an 18% target share split 3 ways with Nico, Robert, and Mechie. And none of these guys are really that great. But I think Nico, in terms of odds, definitely projects the best out of the group. But Justin, what's your read here on the Texans?
Yeah, I would say Nico is the proven commodity and most likely to succeed in the offense. Mechie is the guy I definitely want to leave a light on for. It's funny, right before you said him, I was about to ask for us to add him to the queue, because as we're starting to look at Houston playmakers, I think that would be a great little backdoor stack for us to pull off, add Mechie, and then go with CJ Stroud to round out that Houston's thing. And then we're saying, like, the one thing we're getting right is, yeah, this Houston offense is for real. They invested in a first-round rookie quarterback. He lifts, rising tide lifts all boats, and all of a sudden we got all these guys, 2 rounds behind where they should have been going all season long. So yeah, I love that. I do think Nico is the most, if you had to take a bet on who's going to score the most points, it's Nico, but which guy could maybe absolutely take you to the finish line in a tournament like this? I think Mechie fits that profile a little better. Former 2nd round pick.
Yeah, I'm with you on Mechie for sure. The only thing with this team, though, is if we take Mechie, he'd be our 8th and final. I don't think we have.
Yeah, we probably don't have the room.
Yeah,
you could do Schultz instead of Mechie.
Ooh, yes, yeah, there we go.
Mm-hmm.
He's so boring, but he could absolutely have 5 or 6 games where he has a couple touchdowns, and that's exactly what you need for the week.
Exactly.
Yeah, we want 3 of these tight ends, I think, on this team.
I agree. Yep. Nice. Zach, Chris, can you back out and see the board real quick? So we're about to be back on the clock here at 1:42. Here, we'll go a quick scroll through board here. We're working a Bengals stack and a few other angles here.
Texans and Cardinals. We're going with the vomit stacks, as Jordan Cooper would call it. Cardinals, Texans. But hey, like that to me, I like going after less attractive stacks. I mean, we've got a nice, sexy Bengals stack in there, and we have got a really cool thing there. But yeah, I think taking offense that obviously everybody's written off the Cardinals. Obviously, people are writing off the Texans. Like, what if just being neutral is good enough, to outperform ADP? I think is what we're saying.
Yeah,
right,
gross stacks with good stacks are fun. Get the great one with Burrow, and then you go upside with the other weird stuff. I like that.
All right, so we have some decisions we're gonna have to make here because a lot of these guys go around here. So if we want Schultz, Higbee, Irv, we'd have to take them here if we want them. Kyler as well would have to go here if we want him. Stafford would be the same deal.
I think so. Can we see who's the quarterbacks that the 12-11 and 12-12 have taken real quick? They got Fields, and who's the guy? He's got Hurts.
So they went early.
Yep. We could wait. We should definitely wait for Kyler here.
Schultz went off the board.
Throw Kyler in the queue real quick.
Do we want to?
Higbee,
let's just take Kyler then. Okay. You're gonna take. Well, do we want to do Stafford or Kyler? I think we have this.
Kyler.
Yeah, let's do Kyler and then
and then get Irv
up. Yeah, there you go.
Right. We don't have to do the Ram stack.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, and like I was saying, I think this is the pocket where Kyler should have been going. Like, upside, he can still finish as the QB 10, blowout ADP. Downside is, he's, his knee's not right. Cardinals stink. But I think that, the narratives around him have just been kind of wrong all offseason. Like Edwin Porras has been on this, but, if you look back at quarterbacks coming off of ACL injuries, all of them came back within 10 months, and Kyler's 10-month window is week 4, week 5. So, like, I think that's a pretty good shot for him, week 3, week 4, week 5, and then maybe by week 14 around his bye, he's close to 90-100%, and he's blowing out ADP. But
absolutely, I was ready to kind of throw him in the trash. Here we go. We're back on the clock. I think this is our pick here.
Irv,
we've already made the bet on the Cincinnati offense. Right? Reaching Thomas, a couple picks isn't going to matter.
I know that just made you cringe, that Irv pick, but
he's not here.
Yeah, well, he's listening. I know he's listening, and he hates Irv Smith, but just letting him know. If we win the money here, you're gonna thank Irv Smith a lot. You can.
So we're definitely gonna need some running backs late. Justin, is there guys late running backs that you particularly like?
Yeah, I think we kind of think about the Eagles guys as being anything could happen there. Who do we have left to choose from? And I see Gainwell popping up towards the top of the board there. Are there any other Eagles still available?
No, Penny's gone.
Yeah, nah, no one that I would feel good about. I mean, people have been taking, Alameda Zaccheaus and Quez Watkins. I'm not into that, but Kendre Miller, man, he is really starting to fall, and I can't understand why. I mean, like, he's fully cleared. He's at training camp. Like, he still has the same amount of contingent upside. Like, he's healthy, and I think he's just kind of slipping through the cracks here.
What do you know about?
I'm saying this because we're probably not going to have a chance to get him, but
What about the Kamara situation? Like, what are we expecting to happen? Kamara, Jamal Williams, Taysom Hill taking a few carries. Like, how much pie is there for Kendre?
I think Jamal is going to be more involved than we probably want him to.
I agree.
I don't think Kamara's cooked. So I'm not super into Kendre, but there's no denying that he has some kind of contingent value if either guy were to miss time, whether it's a Kamara suspension or, which isn't really what you want. Like, I want my rookies in particular coming on late, not early. So he kind of needs an injury, I think, to really make an impact. Jamal was like quietly not a bad runner last year. I know he looked inefficient at times, but he was also their short yardage guy where his only job was get the first down or get the touchdown, whatever it is. When he was in like straight line speed areas, like not a ton of defenders in the box, 3 or more yards to go, he was in the top 10 for yards per carry.
Damn. Yeah. That's impressive. I mean, Jamal, I think he always has touchdown upside, especially after last year. He's always been pretty good in short yardage, but this is an offense that schemed up Andy Dalton really well last year and made him look pretty good. I think Jamal is definitely makes a lot of sense. I've actually been taking a lot of Jamal too, but Kendre, man, still, I know he's 20. This is probably, he's a really young rookie. He probably won't do much this year, but like you said, if there's an injury in front of him, he was really good at TCU.
Yep.
Jeremy, your question on Akers here real quick. Justin, I'll quick this to you before we get back on the clock. Jeremy Yates is asking, after strange year last year, is Cam Akers sneakily in a good spot at ADP? What's your Akers read? Because I think he's like one of the individual backs in that range that could make or break a lot of teams.
it's funny because we've seen him be so inefficient at times that it's been really frustrating, but he's never struggled to get volume. Like the guy, when he's on the field, gets a lot of work. So I would bet on that improving. We tend to see efficiency numbers regress back towards the median. However, the volume is the thing that we feel like we can do the best job of projecting. So I'm in on Akers. He may not have like a huge passing game role, but I don't know if you necessarily need him to. You just need the Rams to be mildly competent.
Yeah.
Can I ask, is Gus? Is Gus Edwards taken?
No,
he's still usually there.
What do you guys think about him? Like the news on Dobbins has been a little funky lately.
We could get him in the 180s.
I like him. Yeah, we could probably get him to come back around.
Gainwell for sure here.
Okay.
Yeah. Man, now those 7 wide receivers are looking great. The receivers just completely died coming up into our pick. Pierce was a great ADP value, but then it just died.
So we'll need, if we want to get Gus Edwards, he'll have to fall like 3 picks past ADP, which isn't much.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't need a receiver. Can we look at the tight ends real quick, if you don't mind? And we want to do Stroud, right? He's in the 180s too.
Well, we don't have to do another QB.
Stroud. Yeah, we don't have to do Stroud.
We can though. Yeah. I think we definitely want Trey
for sure. But we probably won't need at least. Well,
can I do need another on Trey? And that I'm not convinced that he's the starter over Zach Ertz.
That's fine. Yeah, I'm with you on that too. I'm not totally convinced on that either. I still like McBride, but Ertz might be dust. But
I think it's running back or tight end here. Then,
I mean, if you feel strong, we can't take Tajay. Yeah. That's fine.
Justin, what's your thoughts on the Panthers backfield? Do you think Sanders actually is a 3-down guy, or do you think they're
absolutely not? No.
All right, then Chuba's a good pick.
Yeah, absolutely. So we don't need very much out of Chuba, and we've seen Miles Sanders struggle to stay on the field at times in his career. Like, I think that's a perfect situation for us to embrace there. I don't know. Like, it's not like I believe in Chuba's talent or anything like that. It's just a matter of like Miles Sanders hasn't shown a ton on the field in terms of durability. And I'm not like an injury prone type of naysayer, but I think he's never shown that he can handle 20 touches a game.
Yeah, that's fair. And he hasn't been a good receiver since his rookie season. Yeah, I've been buying a little bit. I think the Panthers' offensive line's a little better than people think. I think there is some, they gave him all that money. They're going to try to play him on 3 downs. But yeah, Chuba still is a fine pick, especially for our team. Get a little correlation with Kirk too. I know we overpaid, but we needed a 5th back.
Yeah. So
and to go back to your Gus Edwards real quick, like I've been with you on fading Dobbins, but something's up there with Dobbins and the team.
Yeah.
Maybe they brought in Gordon to play passing downs. Chris, you were about to say something though? Sorry about that.
I was going to say we could do a 4 tight end team if we're feeling crazy, because I
love 4 tight ends.
We have not really put much into it in this team. It would lock us into 2 QBs for sure. It would probably lock us into, it would lock us out everywhere. We'd be done everywhere. We'd have to go 5, 7.
Yeah, we have 3 picks left. We don't have to go 4 tight ends, but Justin, what's your read on just if you don't get an elite tight end, like what's your builds looking like?
Yeah, to me, I see like when we took Joe Burrow, we said we need fewer quarterbacks and we need more tight ends. That's kind of the stand I think we made there by taking spending a lot of draft capital at the quarterback position. So yeah, I'm fine with that. When your best tight end is Irv Smith, I think you probably need a little bit more help there.
Yeah, for sure.
What are the late round tight ends that you like? I love getting Hunter Henry late. I don't understand how his ADP stays so low. Nobody else correlates really with anything.
Yeah, Chris, I've been with you on Henry. I've also been drafting a lot of Mayer. Austin Hooper, I think, might be dust. They don't have a good 3rd receiver. He doesn't correlate for this team really. We could take Hurst as well. He's super boring. He's going to walk into 70 targets.
Absolutely.
Works with Chuba.
Conklin.
Conklin being like Robert Tonyan 2.0.
God,
for Aaron Rodgers.
Hopefully it doesn't work out as badly as Robert Tonyan did the last couple of years, man. He was burning money if you took him.
I need to know if Thomas's Juwan Johnson love is dead now that Jimmy Graham is back on the Saints.
Oh my! What a random signing, dude. He looked great. I saw a couple of pictures. He looks like he's in shape, but what a weird ass signing. He probably won't make the team, but
I just knew for sure this was the one-day signing thing where he gets to retire as a Saint, and then
that's what I thought it was too. Yeah, yeah. When I first saw the tweet from the Saints, I was like, they're gonna say, oh, it's a 1 year or 1 day contract, right? Right? Right?
I had to check the date like 3 times. I was like, it is. Yeah, no, that's today.
Yeah, man. I went back and looked at his career. His peak with the Saints was unbelievable. And then he went to Seattle and literally his stats got cut in half. He just couldn't stay healthy. He had the really bad knee injury, but yeah, he probably would have been a Hall of Famer if not for that bad knee injury, honestly. He was on that kind of path.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So we got to definitely go tight end here. We can pass ADP a little with McBride. I'd be fine with that, or Hurst or Conklin, I guess.
Yeah, that's the ADP
I mean, really,
order.
Yeah.
Yeah, more ADP followers. Whoever I feel like they always go right before us. Whoever these teams are right ahead of us, they're gonna have tons of ADP values.
So we got 3 spots left on this team. I think we need to go with the guys that make the most sense with the way that we've built. In which case, like, I think that vaults McBride up a little bit more. The rest of these guys are really more one-offs. Bryce Young is sitting there as the second best quarterback on the board too, which I guess we probably don't need. But yeah, when you click on the tight end again,
too. What an incredible value for Purdy. I really wish we did take Debo now. Damn.
Yeah. Yeah, what do you guys think about Jake Ferguson? Is he a viable consideration out of Dallas?
Yeah, I'm on him too, but I've been taking him mainly on Dak teams, which has been a lot. I like Dak a lot.
Gotcha.
For this team, I'm with you on just following the narrative of like we're building right. Let's go Hurst.
Okay.
A little correlation there. Him and Conklin project pretty similarly. Like you want 70 to 80 targets and maybe 4 or 5 touchdowns. And then let's try and get McBride on this backside here.
Yep, love it.
We have a couple backup plans that are all viable. I wouldn't mind Ferguson here either. There goes Conklin. Because
and then
these guys, well, he has 2 now. Actually, guy at the corner. Oh, he went double quarterback. Okay, so we're gonna get one of them.
Weird. You start Hurts. Why not just?
Stop at Purdy.
Yeah.
Does he have a niner? Does he have a niner?
Nope. It doesn't have a Panther either. So
interesting.
Oh wait, I clicked on the wrong team.
Oh
no. All right, hold on. Let me grab McBride.
Nice. Well done.
Let's see. We have Mingo to go with Bryce,
but no
niner.
Interesting.
I don't think we had a lot of people stacking in this room, which is odd. Mahomes is unstacked.
He had Jefferson. He had no other Vikings.
Yeah.
What's the Hill team have? Does he have Tua?
The Hill team has Herbert and Tua.
Okay.
But Herbert is stacked with Quentin Johnson. Yeah.
That's fine.
The Diggs team got Allen because we let Allen pass. I remember that one. But I think it's the Lamar team. Did they get they got Zay. But pretty much just like every team is like stacked with like one guy. So if we hit on the right guys or the right offenses, we're in pretty good shape because everybody else is going to be having to hit like a 9-leg parlay here.
Yeah, a lot of one-offs. That's Chris, that right there that's the way to describe it. If you're not stacking, you got to hit a 9-leg parlay.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
The odds on that it's extremely low. I mean, 9 uncorrelated bets, 9 uncorrelated legs of a parlay, by the way. It'd be like a Jets money line plus Patriots money line, blah blah blah.
It helps your ceiling, but you don't need the optimal ceiling outcome to win this thing.
Exactly. I mean, I saw a thread today, and I'm sorry I can't remember who tweeted it, but they were simulating the weekly winners. I haven't played any weekly winners, but super interesting game. And he was basically saying Karane's team that won would have not even come close to the ceiling range of outcomes. I'm sorry, I can't remember who that was. I want to give you credit. I'll see if I can find it again.
Yeah, that popped up for me the other day too. That was a really cool analysis.
Let me make sure I find this real quick. So I don't.
As you're looking for that, can we see what wide receivers are available? I have a feeling some of the cheap Chiefs are still hanging around. Is
Justin
Ross?
There's only one
left. Okay,
he's the only one.
Okay.
By the way, the thread was at Dooley Data. I'm shooting him a follow right now. But yeah, you're right. I mean, you and I were going back and forth on this when I was writing up that stacking article this summer, Chris. Like, you kind of put it perfectly in that too. It's like, on weeks, let's say we stack Bills, or let's go with the Bengals analogy. We got Higgins and Boyd and Irv Smith. It's like, let's say Higgins has a down week in week 16, but like Boyd catches 2 touchdowns, or Irv's the guy. God forbid Thomas would tilt off the face of the earth, but Irv's the guy who catches 2 touchdowns. That while that looks bad, Higgins, our wide receiver 2, not helping us might hurt our team in totality. Like, we still had somebody to smooth out the variance from the same offense. So,
right.
Yeah, I've been working on a pretty deep data dive on stacking in general, covering a number of topics. But mainly, or not mainly, but one of the things was looking at just general stack size. I think you found this too. Like four-man stacks are ideal. When you start to get to the 5 and 6 range is really where it gets dicey. And I particularly am looking at it from a lens of, okay, what if I get ADP value though? It doesn't matter. And what I found was 3 and 4-man stacks, you can get like negative ADP value on your stack and still have a good, an above expected advance rate. But when you start to get to 5 and especially 6, if they're not like falling to you past ADP, you shouldn't be taking those guys.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. And I think that just follows the logic of what I was looking at is like just total stacked players, like massively. Once you get over 9 or 10, that's where the advance rates really started spiking, both from like a semifinal, finals perspective, and then like leverage in the finals itself. Yeah. And that's why, week 17 stacking makes so much sense,
Yep. Do we want to go 4th tight end or take another running back?
The backs to me are kind of dead here. There's really no one that adds to our upside. I
think Stroud's the only other guy that looks super sexy for our build here. I mean,
he did fall well past 80.
Yeah.
Can we scroll down real quick? Yeah. I'm good with Stroud, man. I mean, it's a last round. There's no one that really projects well. We don't need a 4th tight end. Yeah. We don't need a 4th tight end.
We just need McBride to be playing in week 7.
Yeah.
Okay. Take us home, Stroud. Let's go.
Yeah,
here we go. He's going
crazy.
Like 188, I think. 185.
He should be getting drafted. Mac Jones should be getting drafted. Other than that, the rest.
Jimmy, I think Jimmy should be getting drafted, fully cleared.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue that. What do we have? A lot of 2,
especially if you take Adams, man. Like, you should 100% be taking Jimmy G in the 17th or 18th round. Like, why the hell would you take Adams unstacked? Like, you want Adams to hit his highest range of outcomes, which means you need Jimmy G healthy. Like, he's not getting there. I know he had a great game with Jarrett Stidham, but like, yeah, if you're taking Adams, man, like, you got to take Jimmy G.
But there's a lot of 2 QB teams in this room, which is.
Chris, will you just kind of look at the best available remaining? Because I think it's a helpful way to say, oh man, I wish I would have waited longer on whatever positions to see kind of what stuck around and what would happen. Would you be happier if you had Corey Davis instead of one of your receivers so that you could have upgraded somewhere else? Would you have been happy if you had Jake Ferguson at tight end instead of Irv Smith so that you could have picked a better player there at running back? So. And the quarterbacks is a great example.
I think the quarterbacks are the ones. Yeah, they stuck around.
Yep.
Maybe we could have waited a little longer there.
We could have maybe passed on Kyler and who.
Well, we would have had stuck with week 7 buys if we only went 2. But we didn't lose ADP value on quarterbacks. We took Kyler a smidge over ADP, and we got Joe a little past.
So this is what would have if we passed on Kyler, taken another player and Stafford, but he would have gone 1 pick ahead of us. Then we would have been stuck with Stroud, and we probably would have just gone 2 QB.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
but that's definitely that QBs are definitely the thing here that went. I think we got really lucky with the way it fell, with the way the running. We took Henry, and then where we took
Pierce too.
Yeah, Pierce, Connor. We talked about maybe we go Gabe. Well, Rashad White went right before us too, so it wouldn't have helped us.
Yeah.
Overall, we have a balanced team. Like, we have pretty good running backs and pretty good receivers, pretty good quarterbacks, and maybe not so great tight ends. So
yeah,
it's not a prototypical zero RB or anchor RB. No prototypical build, just totally balanced.
We need week 7 to not be terrible for us, because it's not going to be good.
This is technically just a superhero build. You get one running back in the first 2 rounds, then take 0 until 6 or 7. And then you take a bunch of late round tight ends. We really, honestly, guys, we need Trey McBride. I think that's the big thing for our tight end room is McBride to be the starter, Zach Ertz to be dusty. I think that's kind of the key to this team, because Irv and Hurst are just, I'll be stunned if they really smash ADP. But
we just need him to catch the touchdown in the playoff weeks. That's all we need.
At least one.
I saw today Ertz is starting on PUP, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, man. He's 33, 34 now. His efficiency's been declining. I know McBride wasn't anything great last year, but he was a really good prospect. Like, McBride was a really strong prospect, I thought. Yeah, he would have had the highest speed score in that tight end draft class if he had ran at the combine, but he was hurt. He ran his pro day. I like McBride, but yeah, Ertz could definitely come back and split the route share and muck things up.
Well, Travis Kelce's completely throwing me off of what the age curve looks like at the tight end position. He's just been so dominant, and he's 33 right now. And maybe I'm leaving too much of a light on for Zach Ertz based on the unicorn that's Travis Kelce.
Do you think Kelce is a good first round pick? That's a debate we have here on a lot, especially when Scott is on, but he's not here today. But I'm curious your thoughts on. Is he's probably likely to finish as the tight end 1, but is it at as far enough a gap from the rest of the tight ends to be worthy of where he goes?
Yeah, I think he is. I think his ability to distance himself from the field, not to say he's going to, but he has such a direct path towards doing that. If you keep waiting for him to fall off the age cliff, that's basically the only way that this catches up with him. He's in the best offense on the world, getting balls from the best quarterback on the planet. He's in a great situation without a whole lot of target competition at that. So the only way he fails if he's just can't do it anymore. And he's shown no signs of that to me. So I think he's a really great first round pick, honestly. And I think he probably deserves to be going right in that 5-6 range.
Nice. Yeah. So you'd be taking him over Diggs and considering him over McCaffrey, it sounds like.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. Yeah.
And if you're playing on FFPC or somewhere like that, where it's tight end premium, that he's probably in the number 2 overall type of criteria.
Yeah. I think you definitely make the case for him at 2, certainly at 3, because you look at Cooper Kupp, you look at Tyreek Hill, I still think they can score 20 a game, but if Stafford gets hurt, God forbid, Tua gets hurt, both those guys are screwed,
Do you think a Chiefs wide receiver has to not break out for Kelce to be that elite again? Because that's basically what happened last year. Is all the Chiefs guys were just kind of meh, and not.
But he's put up massive ceilings even with Tyreek balling out too.
True.
So it's tough. Yeah. He seems to be rather immune to that. And I mean, one thing to keep in mind is you're talking about first round picks. First round picks don't return positive expectation over the equity you drafted them in. The best case scenario, they play first round picks. Worst case scenario is the only thing you really have to worry about, that downside risk. We know these guys are good. The only question is, can they do what we think they're going to do? So sort of by definition, every first round pick is going to be a little bit, below what you're drafting them to be able to do. So it's certainly possible.
Yeah, nice. And I think with Kelce, it's he has to be the one you need in week 17, week 16 and week 17. And, ironically, the last couple of years, he hasn't been that guy. It was, Andrews, and it was Kittle last year. Yeah. It kind of feels like the pendulum should be a Kelce big playoff run, but we shall see.
We see.
All right, we'll be right back, and we'll get out of here in a minute. All right, Justin, tell us what you got going on over at Run the Sims.
Yeah, well, here it is, late July. We're getting ready for the NFL season. we have some pretty cool tools up at Run the Sims. We've got a pretty sweet projection builder. You can go in and we have our sort of built, locked and stocked projections for this upcoming season. And you have the complete ability to go in and change literally any data point on any player that you want to. Get your own projections, your own rankings. That's totally free. Just get a free account over at runthesims.com. And we're, of course, pushing our season-long product as well. We're specializing in DFS and some of the prop betting sites as well. So we run 10,000 simulations of every play of every game and help you get those data points in a way that's easy to digest and make lineups with. So we'd love everybody to come check us out over at Run the Sims.
Yeah, it is super cool tools, particularly using it for Showdown. I don't think there's any better tool out there for DFS Showdown, and just being able to tweak, all right, what if the game plays out like this? What if it's a blowout? What if it's what if the underdog plays a lot closer, and seeing what the outcomes look like is, I don't think there's another tool out there like that. So highly recommend. Anything else? Graham, what do you got going on?
Yeah, just a bunch of data articles, man, from now until really, middle August, and then switching over to more fantasy stuff. Got a couple correlation articles coming out, rounding out the receivers and tight ends. And then, Chris, I was telling you, I need to pick your brain on man versus zone coverage article. So I got that coming out probably next week. I was talking to Scott, got some cool yards after contact and missed tackles force study coming out too, probably the following week. So yeah, everything fantasy points data. Justin, thank you, man, for your time, expertise. Definitely check out Run the Sims. Justin's super sharp, and their tools are really, really great.
Yeah, it's been awesome hanging out with you guys, and hopefully we what do I get, like 25% of this $2 million? I don't know how this works. We'll figure it out later.
Yeah, well, we'll all be happy if that happens. So whatever split it would be, it would be a quarter. We go quarters with Thomas. So
yeah,
there you go.
There we go.
All right, thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll be back next week with another best ball breakdown.